welcome back to Devils United. Today we'll be doing an England versus USA preview, the next game in the World Cup 2022 for England, and we've got Tom. Tom, how are you today?
I'm all right. I hope England bring it home this time for once. Get a bit of positivity going in this world.
I like the England top, nice and retro. Yeah, I like it.
It's a very old one. I was literally going for my wardrobe over there and I found it at the bottom of my wardrobe. So,
to be honest, though, I do like I do like the New England top, but I just didn't want to. I like wearing bigger tops, but they didn't have a big enough size for me. So never mind. But I've got some other England tops if I wanted to wear it. So let's go through the chat and then we'll get on with the show. Good evening, Ravi. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Good evening, Reese. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Good evening, Henry. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. I'm a bit deflated. Reading women drew against Liverpool. I didn't watch the game. I've been keeping track of the score. When I seen it, Liverpool was actually 2-1 up. So I had no. Or was it 3-1 up? There was winning 2 or 3-1. So I'm really surprised that you ended up drawing 3-3. Hey there, I like coffee. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Hey there, Prasanna. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. I'm just gonna do me and Tom for tonight. Give me a message. We'll definitely get you on for an England preview or something. I do have a Wales one coming up. So if you want to come on, just let me know. Vamos, Brazil, Oli, Oli, Oli. Hey there, Andrew. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. So we'll recap first of all with England's game against Iran. What did you think of that game for you, Tom?
It was easy, but I didn't expect us to score 6. To be quite honest with you, it was just like a game of FIFA on easy mode. It was just. I mean, we passed the ball so well. But I thought when Maguire went off, I thought as much as I don't like Maguire, I actually thought it went a bit off when he went off.
Yeah. When I watched the game, I was really surprised. I think the first half an hour for me, in my opinion, is that it was slow. I was thinking, is this what it's going to be like for England now?
Yeah.
We're just going to... But a lot of people have been crediting Iran a lot because of the manager. So I was expecting a much tougher game because people were predicting draws. Some people were predicting scrappy wins for either side. So, but I think as soon as Jude Bellingham scored that first goal, I think England then they just on with it.
Jude Bellingham is so good though. Honestly, he's different gravy. Just world class.
Yeah, he is absolutely world class. And to be honest, when you look at Jude Bellingham, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody does come for him. But Borussia Dortmund, they are going to put a lot of money onto that.
Oh, I think he's got 3 years left at Dortmund, and
yeah,
price tag. I wouldn't be surprised if it's near 200, 250. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, exactly not. And then we've seen play of the match went for Bukayo Saka, who scored 2 goals. What did you think of Bukayo Saka's performance as well?
He's world class. It's really good. I mean, if you take Saka out of that England team, I don't think we have Foden, but I don't think we have any other than that can replace them two. But Saka, I've said a number of times, he is so good, world class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't really have anyone who can play in that right-hand side. I know you've already mentioned Phil Foden, but as much as I really like Phil Foden as a player, which, surprise, surprise, he's a City fan, a player, and I like him, I just don't think he suits the way Gareth plays.
No. I think Foden's better. I mean, at City plays on the left, but I think Foden's better in the 10.
Oh, yeah, and to be honest, though, I actually think Foden would still do well as a false nine for England.
Yeah, because Kane didn't do well. To be fair, I didn't even know
He got
Kane
2 assists. He got
He
two
got 2
assists.
assists.
Harry Kane.
I do think once he gets a goal, Kane, he will start firing in again.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's only 3 goals off Rooney's record, isn't he now?
Yeah, he's not too far off. I know you touched on as well Harry Maguire. We felt a bit flat without him. Did you say?
Yeah, I thought it felt a bit flat because when he gets the ball, he can run forward with the ball, and in that attacking area, we've got players that can come close to Maguire and play the ball short and play the pockets. But this is the thing with Maguire: he's rubbish for Man United, but he's good for England.
Yeah, it's good for England because he's a very defensive team, but we played awfully attacking in the game. I think Shaw had a brilliant game for England yet again as well.
I mean, I rate Luke Shaw. I rate him very highly, and I think he's the best left back we've had since Ashley Cole. I think.
I'm not a fan of Luke Shaw. I just think he's too inconsistent for me.
Yeah, well, you've got a bit of consistency, haven't you, being a footballer?
Yeah. Iran, they scored 2 goals. One, of course, being a penalty. What did you think? Did you feel like it was a penalty for Iran? Because when I looked at it in terms of England, Harry Maguire, he was fouled in the box. Might as well play WWE that game because Harry Maguire got fouled and it was a clear and obvious penalty. Similar happened for Iran, but Iran got awarded the penalty.
I don't understand. I mean, if they got a penalty, surely we could have got one with Harry Maguire going down. It's literally like being speared. That Maguire tackle. He's literally dragged it. It's like a rugby tackle.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like a rugby tackle. And Pickford, do you still say he should be number 1 for England, or do you not think?
I mean, he's got to be doing better with them too. Goals conceded.
For me, a penalty.
No, but their first goal, I mean, he's got to be doing better there.
Yeah, I agree in that case, but I don't think he still had a bad performance overall, and he's still not been bad for England.
No, it's been good. It's been good. For me, it's like he's another one at England. He plays good, but not so good for Everton.
I think for me, it's probably more because of the defence in front of him. Because, as people say, when you have got a great defence in front of you, you get confident. Your defence, when you got a good defence in front of you, you're very confident. The goalkeeper's confident, and I think he's a lot more confident for England. I know he's got Harry Maguire in front of him, but he's still got John Stones. He's still got Ben White in a great who's playing well. He's got Kieran Trippier. He's got Chilwell, Shaw. He's had Tamari in front of him. So he's had a lot of great centre backs in front of him, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing I like with Pickford's game, I like his long pump passes. I think they're good, and he actually makes good saves. I mean, I remember once he made a save in the World Cup in Russia. I think it was Russia, that penalty against Colombia.
Yeah.
And Euro final as well.
100%. And finally, before we do touch on in terms of the USA game, the formation. Everybody always says Gareth Southgate, he parts the bus, he plays 10 defenders, we play 5 at the back, it's dreadful. But he went back to how he went into the Euros. And in terms of the Euros, we played a 4-2-3-1. And I think it was a fantastic performance, and perhaps that's something we need to consider going forward.
Yeah, I think I've said a number of times a 3 or 5 at the back, whichever way you want to call it, does not work. The players you've got to get as many attacking players on as possible, and the 4-2-3-1, and it was 4-3-3 at times as well. It kept changing, but I think the four at the back suits us better. And if you've got the likes of Kyle Walker to come back and Trent can come in, but for me, I don't think Trent's a right back. I think he's more of a winger myself.
Yeah, people, Reese in the chat, he will confirm that. He's also said that he feels like Trent is more of a midfielder than he is as a winger. I'm not overly happy myself in terms of Trent Alexander-Arnold playing. I think Trippier is the miles better option. But if he was to play in the wing role in the 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, whatever we do decide to do, I think Trent would be playing as a wing back. I can't see,
No.
but I can't see him getting it over Trippier in the back four 1000%.
The thing with Trippier, he's good at set pieces as well.
Yeah, we've got that, and Luke Shaw, he's also great at set pieces.
Yeah, he is.
Luke Shaw's another one. Saka can do them. Mason Mount can do them. We've got a lot of players who can do that, and a lot of
Grealish and Foden can take corners as well. They're good at it.
Yeah, Mount is terrific with his corners and his set pieces. So, and I do look at it and I think that Ward-Prowse, because we've got all these players, he's not a miss in this squad.
No. I mean, if he did come into the squad, he's another one on set pieces that you could have, or even on free kicks as well.
I think if I was going to pick, I would probably have Trippier on a set piece, and I'd have Mount on a corner.
Yeah. To be fair, I would, to be honest. I mean, I've rated Mason Mount for a number of years, ever since he was at Derby.
I like Coffee said Trippier over Trent Alexander-Arnold. All day, every day, I like Coffee.
Any day of the week.
Let's go through some of the comments and then we'll touch on the USA's performance against Wales. Sorry, Andrew, if this gets a bit touchy.
Is he Welsh?
Yeah, he's Welsh. Question, which areas in the game can England hurt USA? I'll take that to you, Tom, and what you think.
Ooh. From watching them overnight, to your question, Rabbit, I think England can hurt them down their left-hand side. Because I don't think their left-hand side is as strong. And with Saka's pace and you've got Trippier can overlap them, that not just that, you've got Mount that could come short and help them out. I think we can hurt them. I think we'll beat USA and Wales.
To be honest, I agree. We do need to exploit the wide areas. They've got a terrific defensive midfielder of Tyler Adams, who was a lead player. Went to replace Calvin Phillips.
He's quality.
Yeah, he is absolutely quality. So I think for me, he's gonna be really on the ball with it. So I would exploit the wide areas too. I like Coffee. How would England fare against Brazil or some of the better teams? I think when you look at some of the better teams, none of them have appeared to me in this World Cup like they're good enough. Like Argentina was poor against Saudi Arabia. I know it's only the first game in, but they was poor. France isn't the same France as what come to the World Cup 4 or 5 years ago because of the no midfield. They haven't got Kante. They haven't got Paul Pogba, which actually sickens me to say that Paul Pogba actually does well in their midfield. But the better teams aren't looking that good. I know France played Australia, but I don't think they'll do well against better sides either. But it's a tough one. I think we probably move to 3 at the back if we was to play the likes of Brazil and if we was to play the likes of Uruguay, because I think that's what will end up happening. But what about you, Tom? How do you think we'll do well?
France, I think the only threat they do have is Mbappe. Defensively, they're not good. Midfield looks weak without, I hate to say it again, I don't rate Pogba at all, but in the France team, it's completely different. And Brazil, I think those could hurt us, Brazil. The attacking players they've got. Argentina, I just think their squad's full of old players. I really do. I mean, your Messi, Di Maria, I don't think, and that Fernandez from Sporting Lisbon. I just think those are the only three that could hurt you in that Argentina team.
Next comment. Henry, we can't keep a lead at all. Sloppiness creeps in and team score against us. Hey there to my dad. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Rather, does Jack Grealish add any value to England? We've got miles better players than Jack Grealish. He's a bench warmer. He doesn't deserve anything more than being a bench warmer. We've got a strong squad. As much as Raheem Sterling hasn't done well, I think he's better than Grealish for England. Phil Foden, Mason Mount, Saka, Rashford is on better form than Jack Grealish. So he's just a bench warmer. And if we were struggling against a team, Jack Grealish wouldn't be coming on. But what's your opinion, Tom? You may have a different opinion to me.
Yeah, I am like a Jack Grealish fanboy. I really like Jack Grealish. I have liked him for a number of years. He's good, but what annoys me with him is he just falls to the floor and wins the free kick. But I actually agree, we have got better players than him. I actually think Sterling's miles better than Grealish. Because all Grealish does is run with the ball and tries to beat players. He doesn't hardly pass it either.
No. I do agree what Andrew says here. He's better than a team that needs an outlet. He gets you up the pitch winning fouls. I do agree with that. I just don't think he suits England, and I don't think he suits Gareth, to be honest.
No. I don't think Southgate likes him. I don't think.
Hey there, Aidan. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Come on, England. Love the spirit. My dad's gone for 4-1 win for England. Ravi said, can England top the group? Definitely. I definitely think we can do.
I think we'll win our remaining 2 games. I'm highly confident.
Hey there, Rich. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. England will win this easily. I can't see why we wouldn't win, to be honest. I'd be disappointed if we don't. From Rather, any players for US England should watch out for. We are going to go through the USA squad. So we will touch on that later on of who's going to be a threat for England. Andrew's top 5 for teams in the World Cup so far: Spain first, then England, then France, then Brazil, then Dutch. So I'm presuming Netherlands. Who's your top 5 so far of performances you've seen from match day 1?
Brazil, France, Spain, England, and 5th one. I'd say Saudi Arabia, because they were. No, honestly, I do think Saudi Arabia have actually got a decent side.
To be honest, though, Japan has to be there for me in the top 5. Japan. They was absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. They were brilliant.
I mean, even last night, Canada, they were better than Belgium by far last night.
Yeah, but Belgium just. I actually done a watch along on Turf Moorhouse. Big up to you, Dan. I actually, when they scored, Belgium, and you can literally screenshot record this. I said, now they've scored, they're gonna hold out a 1-goal lead, and they done that. And I said, what Canada need to do is they need to do a long ball through, or they have to go over Belgium because they're tall. And that's exactly how bloody Belgium scored.
Yeah.
Typical.
I mean, the creative Belgium have is good. It's like you got De Bruyne. I mean, says it for itself with him, doesn't it? He's world class.
True. Very true. Rather, do England go at your best save with pace and start from the attack? Yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't.
Hands down, yeah.
Rich said, USA faded so badly in the second half versus Wales. England will take them apart. And to highlight Coffer I'll get that question answered for you as well when we go through the USA squad. So we'll go on to the game for USA versus Wales. Timothy Ware scored 36th minute, and then Gareth Bale does what Gareth Bale does best, and he scored a penalty for Wales, what kept them in the game, and they got a 1-1 draw. What did you make of that game, Tom?
First half, USA, I think, battered Wales in that first half. I mean, Wales just didn't attack; they just sat back. I think the only player doing most of the moves was Bale. That's it. But in the second half, I thought after the 60th minute, USA looked shattered. They looked absolutely tired, and when they brought Kiefer Moore on Wales, changed completely. They were a totally different team. But a point in the end, I think, was the right result. It was two halves, different halves. First half USA, and obviously second half of Wales.
Yeah, Andrew and Rich will be able to quote me on this, knowing that they're both Wales fans. But Wales play a back three formation. When they won the qualifiers against Ukraine, they played a 3-4-3. Wayne Hennessy had a standout performance. But when they moved to play the USA, they stacked up the midfield and they played a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know what people in the chat are thinking about this, but I wouldn't use Dan James as an upfront player. And he played that on the top alongside Gareth Bale. I think if you are wanting to use the 3-5-2, you've got to have a natural number 9 in there for me as well. And that natural number 9, that would be Kiefer Moore.
Yeah. I think the reason Wales did that, they had no Joe Allen, and he's the main, because Ramsey and Allen sit as a two centre mids alongside each other, and I think Roberts started in the midfield three as well.
Yeah.
As good as Joe Allen is, I think he was actually a big miss for them.
Yeah. One player who I do really like in the Andrews here is saying about Ramsey's not got the legs.
He hasn't got the legs, to be fair, no.
He did have a very terrible game, but for me, I actually think Nico Williams actually had one of the better performances out the Wales squad.
I think
he's played well for Nottingham Forest. I think it's a shame that he wasn't able to get how could I say, he hadn't been able to get the best out for the team, but yeah, Andrews agreed about Nico Williams, and he did also say Gareth Bale hasn't got the legs either. Do you feel like, with Andrew mentioning about Gareth Bale not having the legs, do you think that's why they've used Gareth Bale up front, because he's normally a winger?
I don't think he's got the legs anymore. I do think he's good in front of goal. His record says it for itself. But I do think he's only got a few years, maybe a year, 2 years left in him. Because the American style football, he basically plays golf half of the time.
Yeah. I know we've mentioned about how terrible Wales have played, but I know everyone has always said, Maisy, what you're doing, we need to, it's not about stats, it's the eye test. I'm going to read you out the stat. I'm going to read out these stats of one team, and you'd have to tell me which team it is.
Is it a country?
Yeah, out of USA and Wales. 6 shots, 1 on target, 59% possession.
Is that Wales?
No, that was USA.
USA?
That was USA all game. And we mentioned about the USA being the better team. And if they was I know obviously in the first half they absolutely battered Wales, but considering so, you'd expect them to have more than 1 shot on target. So well, looking at that, that's positive signs for England, surely.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we're a lot. Like, no disrespect towards any Wales fans. I'm not trying to hate you, but there's a lot of difference between England and Wales style of football. I think because Wales don't attack much, England do attack, and if we attack USA, I do think we will tear them apart. When it gets to the 60th minute, that's when we start tearing them apart.
Well, Andrew said that we will batter them, so that gives a lot of enthusiasm. So yeah, enough on Wales and USA. We'll go into the comments. Do you think Gareth made good subs at the right times? Looking at this when he made the subs, to be honest, he made enough substitutes. He made 5 substitutes. He made impactful ones of Marcus Rashford, who scored, Callum Wilson, who assisted actually for Jack Grealish. I don't know if you see, but a lot of Newcastle fans weren't happy with Callum Wilson over assisting Jack Grealish.
I have seen a lot of tweets. I've been tagged in tweets about a few Newcastle fans. Tom, have you seen this? I'm like, yeah, but it's a bit. For me, I think Wilson should have shot. It's a bit selfish.
It was very unselfish from Callum Wilson, but I do expect Callum Wilson to get a game. I think if we was to win the USA, I think he may start for Wales.
Oh, I do. Or you could try start a 2 up top, 4-4-2. Could try that, but Southgate's not that of a good as a coach to do that.
Yeah, Eric Dyer was one that we played. What do you think of Eric Dyer?
He's good on the ball, but if someone's going 1v1 with him, and like for example, if Maguire got injured in the quarters and we played France and Mbappe's against Dyer, don't bother running because he's too slow for me. He's Dyer. He's good in the air, yeah, but I just thought 1v1s is too slow.
Yeah, I think with Eric Dyer, you could not play with Maguire, not a chance. But I think
they're both same speed.
He's versatile, which some of the players offer because, as well as a centre back, he can play as a defensive midfielder because that was actually his position when he was a Sporting player, and it was actually Pochettino who moved him over to a centre back. I think England, his first ever call up for England, he was playing as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was against, but I think he played along. I can't remember who played along, so I think it must have been Gerrard.
I like coffee. Why has Bale fallen off so much with his golf?
It's a good one.
Like coffee. Andrew, England played superbly, very pragmatic, no risk football, but still managed to score 6 goals and make a load more chances. Absolutely spot on as well. When you're looking at how many shots on target we did have, it was quite a lot. Let me get that up as well because my finger's playing up. We have 13 shots and 7 on target. So think about it. 6 out of 7 shots on target with goals. That's fantastic.
Tomorrow night I do think we may have more shots than that because overnight USA are actually that good defensively at all.
100%. Henry said Wales will have to try and evolve into a new era of young players when Bale, Ramsey, Allen retire. Can they do it? I think they've got some young players on there. One young player that strikes me is Brennan Johnson.
There's another one. Well, there's one that plays for Huddersfield, Sorba Thomas. I think this season in Champions he's got crossed the most crosses, something like that, and his quality. He's got a good future, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start for Wales tomorrow, to be fair.
And another one who's I know we're going to do England end of this week. But one more is Dylan Levitt, ex-Manchester United player.
He's quite.
So there is a lot of youth players. It's just about breaking them into the team. And I think Andrew will be able to quote me on this. Brennan Johnson is probably getting broken into more gently. But Andrew loves Thomas. He thinks he's amazing at his set pieces.
Oh yeah, his set pieces for us are so good.
Mm-hmm. Andrew said if Rice, Mount, Jude play like that all tournament, they'll go to semis. I got a feeling their defense will cost them in the last 16 or quarter final. Last time round, it was the goals what was costing us, but I don't know. I think we should be okay with defense. I don't. The defense isn't too much of an issue for me. I think it's just that mentality of can we do it? Because I think apart from obviously the fight like in the Euros, we've had that mentality where we've got to the semis and think, oh, what's going on here? Like we have no clue. I think if we got a good run as well, that would help us in our favour.
I mean, my only issue is with our defence. When we play better teams, Harry Maguire is not good with the ball at his feet. He loses it easy. That's my only issue. So when my issue is, I would bring Ben White, who's very good on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only issue. But if there's an injury to Shaw, who goes left back? That's the other issue. Well, Saka could play there.
Saka could play there. Trippier can play as a left back as well. So we could move Trippier over to a left back if Shaw got injured, and then we could put Ben White as a right back.
Yeah. I forgot one player we haven't mentioned, James Maddison as well.
James Maddison, I think he was too early to come on the pitch at the moment.
Yeah.
Hey there, Luca. Hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. I'm very well, thank you. Glad that you're okay. Andrew says Southgate sets England up well in tournaments. 100%. I like Coffee. I think it was nice for Wilson to pass to Grealish to score. Yeah, very unselfish because he hasn't been for England for a long time. So you'd thought he would have wanted to get a goal.
I think what went nice with Grealish to that celebration he did as well, because he dedicated it to that young not so well kid with cerebral palsy, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Calvin Phillips does. I mean, Rabbi. Why did I just call you Calvin Phillips? Like what, Rabbi? I don't mean calling you Calvin Phillips, okay? Rather, does Calvin Phillips deserve to start? In my opinion, I love Calvin. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of Calvin Phillips, and there would be nothing I'd love more than to see a Jude and Calvin Phillips partnership, right? Because I adore Calvin Phillips, but Calvin Phillips hasn't had enough minutes. He didn't even come on as a substitute for England, so I don't think he's match fit. I don't think he's ready. Not that he's not match fit. I don't think he's ready. I don't think we can throw him in after playing less than a game's worth of minutes for Man City. So no, I don't think he deserves to start. What about you, Tom?
Now, what you could do is play a midfield 4-3-3, and you could have Rice. Well, for West Ham, Rice advances forward a lot. So what you could do is have Phillips sit, Bellingham and Rice can advance forward.
But that means we drop Mason Mount.
Yeah, it's hard. No, for me, he's not played enough minutes. I rate Phillips. I've rated him when he was at Leeds. But I just don't think he's had enough minutes. Maybe if we're playing a bigger team and we try to see the game out, bring him on for a more defensive bit to keep us a bit more tighter.
I'd be happy if he got a few minutes, but I don't think he's going to get a few minutes, unfortunately.
If we beat USA and play Wales and we put a totally different side out, he might play them. But
Ravi, aka Calvin Phillips, has also asked who partners well with Maguire at the back.
John Stones.
It'd have to be John Stones based off who's there. To be honest, as much as I'm not a fan of Maguire, it'd have to be John Stones. I think our best centre back's at home, called Tomorrow.
I mean, if Tomorrow was in the squad, I would have Stones and Tomorrow starting. I wouldn't have Maguire. But then again, Southgate likes to pick his favourites, doesn't
he? Very true. Very true. My dad has asked to you, how many players do you think shouldn't have been in the England squad?
What was the question?
Who shouldn't have been in the England squad?
Trent, Maguire, Jordan Henderson shouldn't be in that squad. And I wouldn't have... Can't think of who else. I would have took another striker. No, Grealish I wouldn't have in either.
Okay. Yeah, they would have been the ones. Yeah, as much as I like him, I feel he shouldn't have been there. Hey there, Liam. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. I missed the Uruguay-Portugal game. Any good? I didn't see the Portugal game. Uruguay was a very, how can I say, exciting draw. What do you think? Did you watch both games, Tom?
I watched both games, yeah. The Portugal one, I didn't even know Ronaldo was on the pitch. It was that bad. But to be fair, Portugal didn't play over bad. Bruno played good. But I'm surprised it finished 3-2, to be fair. Uruguay game, bits of it were flat, I thought. But first games usually are a bit flat, aren't
they? Yeah, definitely. Rather, which of the England strikers is more impactful? I think they're all just as impactful as each other. I actually think we brought in great strikers, in my opinion.
I'd say at this current moment, I'd say Rashford's more affected than Kane.
I think Kane's in too much good form at the moment. He's literally averaging out a goal a game.
There is that. The thing with him, what does my head in, he drops deep a lot. I just want him to stay in one position.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the downfall of him, that he does drop too far back, and I don't think he should be doing that.
No, I don't think either.
Ravi, thoughts on Saka? We've already touched on Saka. We both, Thomas said he's world class, and
my favourite winger this season is my favourite winger in the Premier League. He's in my fantasy team captain every week.
Well, you'll be getting points anyway. Hey there, Foxer. Hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Uruguayan manager needs to be sacked right now. Foxy's a big South American fan. Bizarre started Darwin wide left, and Palestra. Has he even played a game recently, let alone score? Palestri hasn't actually played any minutes for Man United. Darwin Núñez, I have no clue why they played him on the wide, but I think that Darwin Núñez played as a left winger for Liverpool in the last game. Raves, Henry, can you quote me on that? My dad has also asked, what team do you support?
Huddersfield Town. I was born in Huddersfield, and my granddad, great, that passed away 20 years ago, he brought me up liking football. So I do like Man United because my grandma, great, she supported Man United, so I do like them both.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll go on to the USA squad, the called up squad. See who could be potentially facing England. We'll break it down bit by bit. So goalkeepers, Matt Turner, Ethan Lawfath and Sean Johnson. What do you think of any of them goalkeepers? I know Matt Turner, he is Arsenal's backup goalkeeper, been playing in Europa League.
I think they're decent. Turner, I actually think is a really good goalkeeper. Before he signed for Arsenal, because I do watch quite a a lot of football over the world, and he's a really good goalie. He made some good saves overnight. I think one of them, can't remember who headed it in box, but I'm surprised it didn't go in. But it was a class save.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think he has done. I think it's been a bit shaky for Arsenal. Don't get me wrong, but he has been a bad backup player. Do you know what's been real real surprising? Zach Steffen, he hasn't had a call up.
Yeah, I'm very surprised with that. I'm very surprised because he's on loan at Middlesbrough, innit, from City.
He is.
And when we played Middlesbrough, I went to the game away. He's made some unreal saves. Honestly, he's a very good goalie.
100%. So I was surprised myself that that he actually didn't get called up, especially over other ones there. I'm not too aware of the defenders. Maybe you might be.
Dest,
Dest,
yeah,
Zimmerman,
Barcelona.
Remerman, Rimmerman, Robinson, Rem, Long, Moore, Carter Vickers, Yeldon, and Scala. I know you did mention Dest, didn't you? Barcelona.
There's Dest, there's Robinson who plays for Fulham, there's Carter Vickers plays in Championship who's good. But I think it's quite a weak defence USA have, to be quite honest with you.
Okay, so if you was to play them defenders, who would you play out of them?
Dest, the wing backs would have Dest and Robertson and Carter Vickers and one of the other centre backs to play middle for him.
Okay. Okay. So, midfield we've got Tyler Adams, Musa, Weston McKenna, De La Torre, Roldan, and Acosta. We've already touched on Tyler Adams. I think he is that rock in that USA squad.
Oh yeah, if you take Adams out of USA squad, any team would smash him. Because Tyler Adams, he doesn't just win the ball. He's good at taking people on and making that first turn. And he's strong. You know, he can hit a ball as well. I mean, he's been one of Leeds' best players this season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Do you know, when I went to the US, because I literally came back like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you went there in America, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Tyler Adams was advertised everywhere.
Was it?
So yeah, he was advertised everywhere. Like when we went to a petrol station after we went to the Grand Canyon, we literally see Tyler Adams doing adverts in the petrol station. That was how crazy he is. So it just shows as well how much he is loved it by the USA.
Oh yeah, it does. Definitely. It's a ball, as younger people call it now. It's baller in it. That's a new saying.
And I know Ravi and I Like Coffee did ask about the defense, which we already touched on, and who the biggest threat is from the USA squad. And I think it's Tyler Adams.
Oh, I do. In the midfield, yeah. But when we're going to the wing attacking side, Pulisic is another one.
Anything else you want to touch on with the midfielders before we move on?
I think the problem with America's midfield, apart from Adams, I don't think they've got anyone good enough for them.
Yeah, they've got a brilliant defensive midfielder. But apart I've heard some good things about Acosta, but apart from that, there isn't too many I could look at and go, they stand out.
No, same here, to be fair.
And the last one, the forwards, Giovanni Reyna, Jesus Ferreira, Christian Pulisic, Brennan Aronson, Jordan Morris, Wright, Timothy Ware, Josh Sargent. Do you want to touch on the forwards?
Aronson is one to watch because he's class at Leeds. Raya, I think, plays for Dortmund, doesn't he?
I believe so.
And Pulisic, seeing what he's done in the Premier League, and he's very good. I think they can hurt England though in attacking areas. In like,
I think Tom may be frozen there. Oh, you're back, Tom.
yeah, I've got it's like McDonald's Wi-Fi. Is it so?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. So what was you saying anyway?
Aronson, Pulisic, Raya. I think those are the only three attacking options that could hurt England. To be fair.
Yeah. And Andrew said about Jordan Morris, who used to play for Swansea on loan, and he was a good player, but he keeps getting ACL.
Yeah, I think that's the part when you get, especially ACL injuries, when you come back, you're not the same player.
Yeah. So Christian Pulisic, he's definitely a threat. We know what he can do in that squad. I think he's the captain as well for the USA.
Cardiff as well.
Yeah, Timothy Ware actually scored for the last game for the USA, so he's going to want to keep up that momentum. He's the only goal scorer for the USA so far, so he could be a potential threat. I know you touched on a bit with Brendan Aronson. Brendan Aronson, he actually played fantastic, and a standout game for me with Brendan Aronson was the Chelsea game where Leeds battered him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually went to that game because I entered a competition on Twitter and I won tickets. So I was sat in little posh seats, but he was quality. He literally tore Chelsea's defence apart.
Yeah, he did. One of them was where he full on exposed Mender. It was fantastic.
Quite funny to be fair.
Definitely. And Josh Sargent, I don't know how well he's doing in the Championship. Maybe you might want to tell us, but it is a strange one to be called up.
He's decent, but I don't think he's good enough for the World Cup.
Why do you think Sargent been called up? Do you think it's the fact that there was no other options, or is he good for the USA?
My only guess is if there's any injuries for him to get called up on, or it is decent. He can score, but I don't think he's a World Cup squad player. Okay. Not yet, anyway. He's still young.
Looking at the USA squad, do you think that they could get out of the groups in second place or first?
First, no. Maybe second, depending on the Wales result tomorrow. Now, with that, if Wales don't get anything or get a point tomorrow and we beat USA and USA beat Iran, I do think it will be USA who get second. But I've said from the beginning, I do think England and Wales will go through.
I had England and Wales to go through for my top two. Yeah, so that's the USA squad spoken about, and we'll go through the comments. Andrew said, "Don't want to be too disrespectful, but USA manager has his head up his butt." Ravi said, "Question is that the USA defense leaker?" I know we touched on that a bit. I don't really know any of them, so it's hard for me to say. Oh, how good are the defense? But Tom, you might.
They are decent. The only problem is if USA press and they lose the ball, they've got no one back because their two centre backs are slow. The only thing with USA's defence, their two full backs can bomb them. But the defence, I don't think it's strong enough, their defence, to be quite honest with
you. So, V said, if Gio Di Maria does not start, US can call it quits. Andrew said, Sargent playing and Aronson on the bench. Come on. Raya should be in the team. Adams is a good player and McKenna works hard. Liam said, after watching all of the first round fixtures, Spain, France, and Brazil have impressed him the most. Okay. Andrew said, England score at least 3 goals against these. Surely we've got a few goals in our bag here.
Now, if we only score one in this game, there's something seriously wrong. Because I do think we'll score more than 3. I think we'll win 5-0, something like that.
I'll get your score prediction at the end of the game. I had mine I'll stick to mine what I picked in my prediction show with Luca. I don't know if I feel it now though. He said Pulisic is a threat and he's gone for a comfortable 4-0 win for us. Ravi said, question, who scores the first goal in the game? England.
Easy, yeah.
England. I like coffee said Pulisic looks like he's dancing on that photo. Hey there, QP Armbad Dean. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. I seen you from Dan's channels a couple I think it was yesterday. So I really appreciate you subscribing. Thank you very, very much. Andrew said, I despise Josh Sargent. Poor Reese, he isn't going to be happy with that one because he absolutely loves Josh Sargent. He doesn't. But he has been alongside Pucker, Norwich's best defender. He is having a good season for Norwich. Please tell me Norwich ain't doing too good this season. Just because I don't want to see him back up.
They're not top 5, top 6 yet. You know, I don't think they'll go up. I think there's better teams in that league that are better than them.
Thankfully they don't come up.
They go down, don't they?
Well, when they come back up, they come back down. So,
yeah.
Ravi, will Harry Kane stat pad goals in this game? Not too sure. I think he could get a goal, but I think he was unlucky not to get a goal against Iran. What do you think Harry Kane's going to score?
I do think he's going to score. My only problem with Kane is with the midfield USA. If he presses back and we're making an attack and we've got no one in front of goal, Kane's still there because he's not the quickest as Kane. But I do think he scored 2, Kane. 2 penalties, I think.
2 penalties? Ooh, I'd be happy with that. Yeah. I like coffee. Will Maisy sing It's Coming Home if England win the World Cup? I like coffee likes that I sang it when the Lionesses won. So we're not going to win the World Cup, I like coffee. If we do, I'll sing just for you. Just for you, I'll sing it, I like coffee.
If we win the World Cup, I'll come on the stream and sing it with her.
Yeah, good enough for me. Dean has said, I still back Ecuador to do the shot competition. Valencia is on fire. What did you think about Ecuador? They was fantastic. Valencia was robbed out of a hat-trick.
Yeah, I think they were class. I mean, but I think Qatar, they won't score a goal this tournament. I'm not being disrespectful, but I still don't agree the World Cup should be in that country anyway. But yeah, I think Ecuador, I'm surprised Ecuador didn't have more goals. It's like when Holland play Qatar, Holland are going to smash them.
Mm-hmm. They are going to smash them. It's going to be interesting, though, how Ecuador is going to be facing the Netherlands and Senegal, because none of them are really stepped up, in my opinion.
No, I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm. Henry said, I'm going to go 2-1 win for the Americans. Really, Henry? Why'd you do that? Why'd you bet against us? I think Henry's an England fan. Henry, why'd you do that?
He might not like Southgate. That's probably why.
So rather, the next World Cup is going to be in USA, Mexico, and Canada. So all 3 of them are sharing the World Cup, and it'll get spread out around them, which I'm going to look forward to. I wonder who's going to actually properly host it, though. So what I thought we'd do before we quickly wrap up, we'll do a predicted lineup based off who we think is going to start, not who we want to start, who we think will start. So I know there's going to be some ones who we probably don't want to be in, but we'll probably will be in. Sound good?
Yeah, smash it.
Great. Goalkeeper, clear and obvious for me, Pickford.
Yeah, 100%.
Pickford goes in. Right back. Trippier, yeah. You can't see Trippier not he had a fantastic performance. You can't see him not starting now, to be honest. I think he cemented his place now in that England squad.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's set pieces. Even when he runs forward with the ball, he's got pace. He's been Newcastle. I think Newcastle's best player this season. To be fair.
Them and Bruno for me.
Oh yeah.
Reset report said unchanged. Who knows? Maybe it might be throwing off the Americans, Reese. Left back, I think it's still going to be Luke Shaw.
Yeah. Unless something we don't know about's happened to Shaw in training or something, but I don't think it'll be Luke Shaw.
Next one. Centre backs. Maguire starting. We might as well just put him in.
Maguire and Stones.
Okay, Maguire and Stones it is. So here it is, the midfield, and this is where it gets a bit juicy because there's still Calvin Phillips and there's Bellingham, there's Declan Rice, Foden can play as an 8, Mason Mount can drop to an 8.
Jordan Henderson as well.
Yeah, I wanted to forget about that one. Let's just say we'll be comfortable Declan Rice is going to be starting.
Yeah, I think Declan Rice and Jude will both start.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham was fantastic, wasn't he?
Oh, he'd probably get into other country teams as well.
Yeah, but I think we're very lucky to have him. Very, very lucky.
Yeah. Very lucky.
Attacking midfielder, I think it's going to be Mount.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be Mason Mount.
Yeah, okay. Left. So the strikers, Harry Kane will be starting. Would you say?
Yeah. I saw a press conference today, and Southgate said Kane's fine.
And what are you going to go for the wings? Do you think he's going to be unchanged and have both
I do.
Or do you think there may be some rotation? Because it'd be good to see Phil Foden or Rashford start.
I wouldn't have this person starting, but I do think Sterling and Saka will be the wings again.
Okay, yeah. I would like Rashford to start on the left.
I would.
But yeah, unchanged. It is what we've predicted. But
even though the way Sterling does run weird, now that's the one thing he does.
To be honest, though, never change a losing team or winning. Never change a winning team.
No.
So yeah, so that's our predicted lineup. Probably gonna be as it is. But so let's go to the last bit of the comments. I like Coffee's predicted 7-2 England. It will be football versus soccer. Dina said Maguire had such a good game and an assist as well to boot. I was shocked. Here's a fact for you, everybody who's watched. Harry Maguire has got the second highest assists as an England player since 1966. Only David Beckham has got more assists.
It's just laughable, isn't it? For a player that doesn't hardly play at his club, yeah, he doesn't assist. I just have to laugh.
He's got the second highest assist for England.
You might as well put him on corners for assists or crosses if he's getting assists.
I know. I know. I like Coffee said Cancelo and Diaz were poor today for Portugal. I don't think Diaz is for Portugal.
To be fair, they were poor. But I think Ronaldo was worst player on pitch, to be honest.
And he won player of the match. Andrew said Sterling have been England's best player for the last 5 years. And Dean said, did anyone see the Ghana player sulking after Ronaldo's goal celebration?
Oh yeah, he scored a goal and he did this too, and Ronaldo wasn't happy.
Wow.
I stopped laughing.
Thank you as well so much. Means a lot. It is shocking. It is shocking. Maguire got the second highest assist. It's crazy. But we'll wrap it up here. Thank you, Tom, for coming on. It's been a great show.
No. I'll happy come on again whenever that is. But yeah. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on. I have missed out my celebrity, but I'm not bothered. To be fair.
What's your score prediction?
5-0 England. Scorers: Kane, Saka, Rashford, Maguire, and Luke Shaw.
Well, on my predictions with Luca, I went for 2-1 for England. I went
Maguire
2-1.
to score?
Hopefully not. I want Harry Kane to score so I can get my guaranteed goal scorer right. Yeah. So, Tom, would you like to shout out your socials?
Yeah. Give me Instagram. It's maiden.tom. My Instagram.
Thank you. I've put your Twitter anyway in the description below as well as your Instagram. So if you haven't
It
already,
it is a long Twitter.
It is a long one. But if you haven't already, go and give Tom a follow on socials. I will be next live. It's going to be now on Sunday. Nippon's gonna come on for the Wales versus England preview. So you'll be able to check that out.
I do speak to Nippon quite a bit, so he's a sound lad, a sound guy.
Yeah, he is nice, Nippon. But we'll leave it from here. Thank you, Tom, very, very much. Everyone smash that like button, smash that subscribe button as well if you're new. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. And let's hope we get them 3 points and we secured knockouts. Take care.
It's coming home as well, hopefully.
Hopefully, Tom. Hopefully. But take care, everyone. It's a bye-bye from now.